My God, are you still talking?
Welcome everybody into the Still Talking Podcast, episode 31. We will jump in with the fellas here in a moment.
It was a fantastic Super Bowl. Very, very excited to watch.
Unreal.
I'm very happy. Very happy both our teams got there.
Very nervous throughout.
Me too. I was very nervous.
Me too.
Doman!
What were you nervous about?
I mean, I had
He
money in
picked
the
the
game.
Chiefs. Right. I was gonna say.
I had a lot of
I didn't know when you'd
wagers.
unmuted. I didn't know when you'd unmuted. I thought you might have just heard the words. I was nervous throughout.
Oh, no. I heard at the end there, I heard the Super Bowl. So,
Yeah.
I had a lot of...
Unbelievable game.
Had a lot of dough. Had a lot of dough on
dough on the game. I mean, as an outsider, other than rooting interest, I mean, there was bets I had that I was rooting for against what I had also. So I mean, I did have some bets on the Eagles, on different stuff like that. As an outsider, it was a great game.
Oh, absolutely it was. It was nerve-wracking as a fan on either side.
Yeah.
But it was a fantastic game.
I think that message that I put in right at the start went on to sum up the entire game of "Let's go." Maybe not "Let's go." Let's go.
Right. Yeah. Like I mean, as an innocent bystander here, it about played out kind of how I figured. I mean, hindsight's 20/20, but I mean, if you remember the question I did ask,
you did say it's going to be close, and whoever has the ball on the final play wins. That you did say that.
Right. Well, no, actually, I didn't. I said
Dennis
that.
said that.
I said that Kansas City was going to be up by 4, and that. But actually, that is right. Kansas City was going to be up by 4. They were up by 3, which I did bet up by 3, by the way. And
Nice.
that the Eagles would end up not scoring on the last play. So technically, the biggest thing that I said, I asked you both: do the Eagles need to be up by 2 scores in the fourth quarter to feel good?
You did say that.
And both of you said no. And it was at halftime; they're up by 10, and that deficit was quickly. And I bet the second half because I'm like, Mahomes is kind of hurt, in quotes
sure.
there. You know, I'm like, he's going to go and get meted up, and they're going to get the ball first. So it was a plus 300 or something like that.
Nice.
A money line at that point, going into halftime, because you didn't know what was really going on. But I was like, I mean, if I'm not up 2 touchdowns or 2 scores in the fourth quarter, I'm scared if I'm the Eagles. And that's exactly how I felt watching that game. Was like, that was really... You needed to be up 2 scores, and the Eagles were not up 2 scores, and it just didn't. It just didn't pan out. But I mean, it was a great game.
It was an incredible game of football
to watch.
Yeah, it was honestly one of my favorite Super Bowls in a long time. I mean, honestly, since the last Chiefs win, the last time Chiefs won a Super Bowl 4 years ago. But as far as like competitive and down to the wire, and wasn't a lot of mistakes, wasn't a lot of flags. I was really surprised because the officiating crew that was over this game had thrown the most flags this year in their regular season games.
Right. I mean, obviously the flag at the end was the one that was the big one.
Sure. And I was as I was telling Greenfly, I would have been okay as a Chiefs fan. I would have been okay if they didn't call it, but by the letter of the law.
As I said to Dennis,
he did hold, and
everybody's saying that. Oh, it's the Super Bowl, it's the last minute, it's this and that. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
The rules state you can't do it, and you did it.
A lot of that stuff happens.
It has to be called.
A lot of that stuff happens in basketball. Oh, it's the last shot or whatever. Like you can't call that. If you can call that with 6 minutes to go in the first period, you can call that as time expires.
Like,
that's how I feel about it.
The way I've always looked at stuff like that is because obviously more of an English football fan. Is if it's a red card on the halfway line, it's a red card anywhere else on the pitch. If there's a foul on the halfway line, it's a foul anywhere else on the pitch. Doesn't matter what minute it is, who's done it, or what's happening in the game. If it's a foul, it's a foul. And
Right.
that is all that matters.
Yeah. And the funny part was, it was the same. Like, you had to do it. He had to hold him. Like,
Yeah.
He did.
and Mahomes saw that and threw it that way, because that was the exact same play that they had scored 2 touchdowns on.
Both times on, yeah.
Scored the
That same
touchdown to
route.
Tony on
Yep.
the right, because he comes in and pivots to the right. Sky Moore comes from the left, pivots back out to the left, and Juju comes in, pivots back out, and was going to be open again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he had, because there's nobody covering that corner. So he had.
Yep.
I mean, you hope he wouldn't have, but he. In order to prevent, you either hold him and prevent the touchdown, or you let him go and it's a touchdown. I mean, because they're
Yeah.
just not covering that play.
Yeah.
So it's unfortunate that that's kind of a black eye on that game, but it's not, because it was
It's
flag.
you can't do it, and we did
Yeah.
it, and it has to be called.
Yeah, no,
It's-
I mean, and Sirianni took the high road. He
He
didn't
did.
blame that.
All of the
like,
Eagles did.
Yeah,
All of the Eagles
like,
did.
He's like, it wasn't just that play; it was every play. I mean, Jalen Hurts, if he doesn't fumble that ball to Bolton and gets returned for a touchdown,
Yeah.
I mean, it's different. If I'm a Chiefs fan and we lose, I point to the non-fumble,
The second
Targeting?
scoop.
the second
I-
scoop
I
score by
just said-
Bolton.
I have just said to Dennis before we started, that is 100% a fumble. He catches the ball and has time to make a move. He just doesn't. That doesn't mean it's not a catch. It means he didn't move.
Right, they're saying,
It
the third foot.
100% has to be a
The
fumble.
third foot, yeah.
The third foot.
Yeah, but he had time to do it.
Yeah, I agree. I saw it live. I saw it
Yeah.
slow motion. I thought it was 100% a fumble. I'm like,
Yeah,
that's
I-
another scoop and score. And then I'm thinking, do
Yeah.
I have Nick Bolton
But at the same
as an
time,
MVP?
I also think
Right.
Devontae Smith's catch that got called catch and then
Overturned, yeah.
overturned. I think that's a catch.
I
The ball moves, but the ball moves.
On that one I was 50-50. I couldn't call it. I was good either
The
way.
ball moves, but from all the angles I've seen, the ball doesn't move until he's over the line.
Yeah. The one that I thought wasn't a catch was the Dallas Goedert catch on the sideline. I thought
I
thought
think
his foot was up. Yeah, his toe was up.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep, I thought his foot was up. Yes, absolutely.
I think that is it could go either way, but you can't
I-
overturn the call
I
on the
think
field.
I think on
And
that
we
one
got lucky that it
specifically,
was given a catch. If it hadn't have been given a catch,
I don't think it would have been able to be
expected
overturned.
it-
Yeah.
I wouldn't
I-
have expected it to be overturned in our
I
favor.
agree with that. Yeah, I agree with that 100%. But I was again, as I told Greenfly, I'll say it too on stream, man. Hey, we were very cordial. It was a fantastic game. I'd congratulate you, even if you guys had beat us. I thought Jalen Hurts was the MVP, even in a loss.
Unbelievable.
Jalen Hurts is that guy. He is that dude. He is him. Whatever you want to call it. Holy smokes! Way too early prediction. I would love to see a rematch in the Super Bowl
Same.
next year between these two teams.
It's gonna be
Same.
rough. It's gonna be rough, and this is no
For
disrespect
both.
to the Eagle. No, to the Eagles. This is no. I mean, I think Kansas City's gonna be there. They're gonna be sniffing around every year. No disrespect to the Eagles, but you don't go to the Super Bowl and lose both of your coordinators in the same year. Nobody has. And
No one has. You're exactly right, yeah.
You lost both of them. So not only is it, yeah, you might have the same personnel, but you have different coordinators coming in. It's not the same dynamic. You're gonna run Jalen. Okay. Well, first of all, the first thing that's gonna happen is this winter or this spring.
QB sneak. That QB sneak.
Yeah, the tush push, as they're calling it, is going to change. Because if that doesn't change, everybody's going to be running that. Which, it's fine, because that's what happened when the Dolphins ran the Wildcat with Ronnie Brown. Nobody had film on it. Nobody understood it. Then everybody started doing it. So it's not as effective. If they don't change it, everybody's going to do it. But people are going to be able to stop it. It
Right.
is going to be the big thing. So that's the first thing, and now you're hunted. Like, not saying that you were undefeated 8-0, 9-0, whatever the hell it was, but now you're hunted. So losing both coordinators, you have another year. You liken it to Lamar Jackson. You have another year of seeing him in a starting position. We'll see what he can do with a new offensive coordinator. The Chiefs, I think, even though they lost Bieniemy, everybody knew that Andy Reid was calling the shots.
Correct.
Yeah, we had this conversation while you were on mute.
Right.
We pretty much had the same things. Team wise, I don't think there's a team in our conference that is going to cause enough problems that we don't at least make the conference game. I think our team's good enough. It's just how we lost a couple of coordinators, which we have to adapt and overcome, as the old saying goes. But you look at Jalen Hurts this year, he can do everything. He's been able to pass, he's been able to rush, he's been able to do everything you need him to do. That's not going to change with a different offensive coordinator. The way he plays will probably change. What other quarterback in that conference is going to do what Jalen Hurts can do?
That was my question.
Yeah, we have this.
Yeah, so Doman, I'll bring you in on this one. So let's say, for example, Aaron Rodgers gets traded. This is hypothetical, right? Aaron Rodgers gets traded out of the NFC entirely,
he's
right?
Going to the AFC if he gets traded, yes.
Right.
They've already said they will not trade him to the NFC.
Who's the second best NFC starting quarterback behind Jalen Hurts?
Whoever's at the Niners.
But not only that, it's a very big gap. Like, as good as Mahomes is in the AFC, you can make a case Burrow is right behind him, and as well as Allen and Jackson. You can make those arguments. But the gap between Jalen Hurts and Dak Prescott and, Trey Lance, Brock Purdy, Jimmy G, who won't be there next year. Shanahan's already said he won't be, but who? Like, I can't. Jared Goff? No disrespect to Jared Goff, but
Stafford will be back next year with a healthy Cooper Kupp. And in my opinion, probably the smartest guy in the room with Sean McVay.
True.
The smartest coach in the room.
If McVay comes back, he still hasn't decided.
I thought he decided that he's coming back.
Did he? Oh,
yeah.
I missed it then.
I hadn't seen anything.
So you have that dynamic. Kirk Cousins
still,
is always an option. He's in that Dak Prescott conversation to me. Like, they'll do as good as the team goes.
Yep, agreed.
I'm not buying into Washington. I'm not buying. The Giants are the Giants. Who knows if they even have Saquon next year?
Right.
You're gonna have to have somebody win the NFC South. Probably Carolina, maybe.
Depends on who New Orleans gets for their quarterback. Because if New Orleans gets Derek Carr,
yeah, that's pretty good.
That's a solid team, man. Like, or do they bring back Jameis?
Yeah, I heard that one too.
They're.
Well, no. Actually, I heard Jameis might go back to Tampa Bay.
Oh, Tampa.
Yeah. But yeah, it really depends. But as your opening argument, and I think Greenfly's first or second argument last Sunday was it's about who you play, it's about your schedule. Well, next year you will play the number ones out of the conference, out of the divisions that you're supposed to play.
Yep.
I'm not sure what out of conference you play, like what division you play, but you since you're number one in the AFC or the NFC East, you play the number one out of whatever conference. So it could be, it could be the Bengals if it's AFC, North. It could be the Bills. Like, it could be any of those. So your argument of, Dennis, your argument of, well, Eagles didn't play anybody next year. They will be playing. Yeah, they will be playing. So their strength of schedule, everything like that, goes up. So that just
Completely
makes it a little
different,
bit
yeah.
more difficult. I mean, like you add in everything
The one
another year.
thing I will say is on strength of schedule. I think my point that strength of schedule in a situation where it's a closed off league like the NFL is means nowhere near as much as a lot of people make out, because the Chiefs that had so-called one of the hardest strength of schedules and the Eagles that had one of the lesser strength of schedules, so to speak, there wasn't much between them because they play the same teams. They might not play all the same teams, but they play the same teams.
I'm just looking here.
Like, we beat teams that beat the Chiefs last season. Like, it's just one of them. Like, so I
You won.
want a tougher strength of schedule. I do, because I think it looks better, but I don't think it's as important as a lot of people make out.
I mean, it's important because I don't know exactly. So you're playing the AFC or the NFC.
While you Google that, I need to wee, so I'll be back in a second.
Looks like it's the West. So you're automatically play the West, and there it is. You play the AFC West division.
Oh, so we'll get a rematch.
Yeah. You'll play like not the division, but the
top.
matchup. So you play the Chiefs.
Yeah.
So I mean, this is just a quick look. Obviously, Cowboys, Giants, Commanders. You have to play them.
Twice.
So you're playing the Cardinals and Niners at home. You'll play. This is the Eagles, by the way. You'll play the Rams and the Seahawks away. At home, you play the Bills and Dolphins. Away, you play the Patriots and Jets. You play the Vikings at home. You play the Buccaneers away, and then you go to Kansas City. So you're playing Bills.
It's a heavy schedule.
Well, Bills, Dolphins, Patriots. So 3 teams that made the playoffs. The Rams will be better. I don't know about the Cardinals. The Niners are going to be up there. The Vikings, I had mentioned them. You know, you're playing the number 1 out of the NFC North, and you're playing the number 1 out of the AFC West. And the number 1 out of the AFC South, which happened to be the Buccaneers, but we kind of know what's happening there. So it's a lot of 1v1s, one versus one. You know, plus all your normal stuff, and then you play the AFC. Was it the AFC
West?
East and West? Because you play the Bills, Dolphins, Patriots, and Jets. So it's a lot to get through to repeat.
So imagine that division. Just if Aaron Rodgers gets sent to the New York Jets, you've got a Jets team which was young but very good. That was a very good Jets team up until Breece Hall got hurt.
Right.
So you add Aaron Rodgers. You got the Miami Dolphins. If Tua can come back healthy, that's a big caveat. You got Buffalo. You still got New England, who's not going to be a cakewalk. That's a tough division, man.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a tough division to play. Yeah, it'll be fun. I mean, I don't discredit them. Like you said, get back to NFC Championship game. That's definitely doable, but it's gonna be a harder road.
Harder road. Yep.
You know, and who even knows? I mean, I have not checked anything with contracts, free agency. I know that they have to make the decision this year, this off season, if they're going to pay Jalen Hurts because they changed it a couple years ago, where you have to declare the 5th year option on your before the season starts of the 4th year.
Right.
So they're gonna want to figure out how much that's gonna have to owe them.
Oh.
Or not owe them. How much that's gonna end up costing them.
Yeah.
If we don't pay that, we are fucking stupid.
You will.
I mean, you're
We will.
gonna have to, but you know how many teams are as smart as the Chiefs, and how many teams are willing to give up Tyreek Hill?
Man.
Are that smart to give up I mean, it's business, but
Right. To be able to take that sacrifice.
right.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
And you know what's crazy? I was watching Tyreek Hill on Shannon Sharp's Club Shay Shay podcast. You know how much the number was off between what the Chiefs were offering and what the Dolphins were offering? $5 million. That's it. $5 million. Chiefs were going to give him 25. He was going to get 30 from the Dolphins. He went back to the Chiefs and said, they're going to offer me 30. They said, we'll trade you. No problem.
well,
Didn't even.
Well, yeah, but that was the thing. Is like, but he could have stayed.
He could have.
He could have stayed, and
How much does he regret that now?
I don't think any at all. From a former wide receiver, you got your ring, and now you got your money.
right. And
Now
he's
everyone
in
feels
Miami,
And he's in Miami. No state income tax versus Missouri.
No, I think
State
Miami.
income tax.
I think Florida has income tax. Texas does
state.
not.
No, Florida does not have state income tax.
Don't they? I thought they did. I know Texas does not have a state tax.
Give me 1 second, and I will confirm on the Google. Does
You
Florida
Google. Dennis is officially
States.
podcast Google man.
for this episode? Florida does not have a state individual income tax.
Oh, okay.
They have a 5.5% corporate income tax, and they have a 6% state sales tax, but there is no individual
Oh, okay.
state tax on your income.
Changes where I want to live, because I was going to move to Texas, but
You want to go to hurricanes? Okay.
I mean,
Hurricanes or tornadoes? What you want, buddy?
yeah, I'm not a big fan of Miami. But
I could see you on a beach somewhere.
the
Yeah,
Panhandle. Is that a whale joke? Is that a whale joke? This is some bullshit.
I could see Dole living it up with a pina
Good
colada.
Lord.
Pina colada on a Miami beach, sitting next
Yeah.
to Jay-Z and P. Diddy.
Good
Yeah.
Lord. This is a
Where he belongs, my ass.
Where he
Factually.
belongs, you sexy king, you. Hey, listen, if that's the case, you and DJ Khaled can take up your own beach. How about that? Because you know he's out there.
I like
And the only thing he's going to say is, waiter, pina colada, another one.
another one.
Another one.
Another one.
Just clicked his fingers. Another one.
But no, that was a
Do you
good
reckon
way
that's
to.
like his? Do you reckon that's like DJ Khaled's favorite pickup line on a date? Is like, you want another champagne? Another one.
Another one. That's
Another one.
Another one.
Have we talked enough football? Because I don't want to reminisce about the Eagles.
I think
losing
we've
the
talked
Super
about
Bowl.
football. I think we can jump into the premium live event. I think would be the next.
The wrestling.
PLE.
I mean, you know, we got
Where do we want to start, though,
pretty
man?
big,
I'll let
pretty big
Um,
chat interaction
before-
today. So I think we're good.
Before we jump into the wrestling talk, I saw that Dennis had a thought-provoking question of the week from the week that I wasn't here, and I'm kind of intrigued.
Well, we didn't do it the week you weren't here, and
Yep.
I mean, I don't know if it's really appropriate when we're just talking about sports, because I mean,
Yeah,
the
I'm
was
good with
happy.
pushing it. It's a great question. I'm good with pushing it until our next formal podcast, where it's
Yeah.
not like a prediction show or anything like that. So, yeah,
Our
just
next
keep filling
formal
on it.
podcast, by the way, our next formal podcast falls
2
on
weeks.
what date?
2 weeks from today, so
Is that going to be
March
the fourth?
4th.
March 4th? What's the
Yeah.
relevance
I
of that
may-
day?
I may not be here.
that is
Ouch.
that is 6
March.
days. Well, we might have to
March.
miss a podcast and move it to March 11th, which would be one day after our 1-year anniversary.
Woo.
March 4th is Greenfly 98 birthday.
Hey.
Hey. Welcome to the
So-
40s.
Whoa.
What?
Whoa, 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 whoa.
You're
Well,
not 40?
I wasn't
I
right.
have
Oh, no,
not even
39.
said-
Oh, 45. 45, sorry.
45, yeah.
Yeah, there we go. I'm
Okay.
knocking on the door of 50, boys. Yeah, no,
Attaboy.
so there is a chance I may be somewhere getting
Inebriated?
very, very drunk.
I like inebriated better.
I'm getting very, very inebriated.
There we go.
I sound more posh.
Well, I'm getting inebriated right now. I'm on my 4th Dos Equis.
Dos Hickeys. Well, we will, while you're Dos Hickeying, let's jump into the reason for the season.
Whoop, whoop.
Elimination Chamber is tonight. WWE
It is.
Elimination
It
Chamber
is.
from
We are-
Montreal,
We are
Quebec,
on
Canada.
the official road to WrestleMania, gentlemen.
Are. But before you talk about the Elimination Chamber, I didn't happen to catch it live, so I watched a few of the spots from last night.
Yeah.
The interviews, the talking last night were, I mean, you had, if you didn't see it, just at least Google it, Twitter it,
At
something.
least.
You
Twitter
know,
it.
Sami Zayn, 5-minute standing ovation before he got to talk.
Let's go, Sammy.
You know, Bray
He
Wyatt.
deserved it every second. Oh, the Bray Wyatt thing. That literally changed my prediction for the Brock and Bobby match. Well,
I
I
did-
haven't seen the Bray one. I've
Well,
seen the Sammy
it's,
stuff. I haven't seen the Bray.
It's 57 seconds long. You should just go watch it real quick before we talk about it.
go hit the old YouTube, yeah.
Yeah.
No, it literally changed my prediction for that match.
I
Completely.
never even had a prediction for that match until I watched that, and then I'm like,
Yes.
okay, that's
I know what I
interesting.
want.
Yeah.
Now I know. But and then here's the thing. While Greenfly's watching that, I love either match that sets up. I really do.
I mean,
But there's one that I really hope happens, and it shows in my prediction.
yeah, I mean, it really hope it happens, but wouldn't you like it to just be, I don't know, a Teddy Long special? Let's have a triple threat match.
No, I don't think so, because I believe there's other plans with the loser of this that will be in my prediction for WrestleMania. Or WrestleMania match predictions.
Okay.
But yeah.
I didn't look at your predictions. So
That's okay.
while he's watching that, let's jump to it. I believe the first match of the night is going to be that women's elimination chamber match, and that has Carmella, Nikki Cross, Raquel,
Nikki Cross,
Asuka, Liv,
Natalya.
and Natalya.
Yep.
I believe
Natalya
Natalya comes
is-
out first.
I think so too. She's going to get a huge pop, or first or last. Either way, she's going to get a huge pop.
I think she. That's it. I think she starts the match, so she probably comes out last.
Comes out last. Yep, I like that.
So,
like that.
now, so my prediction of that, because winner of this, I mean, most likely, I think this is the last thing before WrestleMania. We'll
Yeah.
go on to face Bianca Belair for the Raw Women's Championship.
Yep.
I chose Asuka, and I chose Asuka because of the dark Asuka right now.
Yes.
If it wasn't that, I probably would have
Yep.
taken somebody like Raquel or Liv. Maybe even Carmella. I don't think Nikki Cross really has a chance. I think Natalya deserves it. She's been around a long time. I think she deserves it, but I don't think this is the time for her.
I can see how that would make you think it's going to be Brock Lesnar.
So Asuka is my choice for the women's.
Your prediction.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm actually going for I'm picking Asuka as well, literally for the exact same reasons. If it wasn't this Asuka, I would have had Raquel Rodriguez, because I would have loved to see Raquel versus Bianca, just because they're two just
Strong.
very, very strong. Absolutely.
Right.
And it'd be a very different style of a match that we were not accustomed to seeing two women having. But yeah, if it wasn't this Asuka, it would have been Raquel. But I think Asuka pulls it, because I don't see this Asuka getting pinned or submitted.
Right.
I just don't, man. But it's also very exciting, because I love this Asuka. And if you haven't followed her all the way from like her roots, this is a early iteration of her character. Can't remember what her name was previously or what it was like the moniker it was, but this goes back to New Japan. To her days fighting back there. So I'm very excited. I love payoffs like this. This makes me a nerd, but
Right.
any type of payoff or reference back or throwback, it gets me. It gets me. So I got Asuka for the exact same reasons you said, though, man.
Right.
What are said reasons? Sorry, I was listening to Bray Wyatt speak.
It's this iteration and this variation of Asuka,
Yeah.
Oh,
and I will keep tally of who we pick. By the way,
look at Dennis on the podcast admin for the night. I love it.
Him. He's doing all the things. Even
I
though
do what I can for
all
my
the
people.
stuff is in the Discord already, but it could change. I mean, it's been a
Yeah.
couple hours since we posted stuff, so
it has. I've actually thought about a couple of mine. So yeah,
yeah. All right. So Greenfly women's EC match.
Liv Morgan.
Okay. Do we have reasons for that, or we just like saying her name?
I
I
have
like saying her name and looking.
I
at her.
have exactly 3 reasons Liv Morgan should win the Elimination Chamber match.
Okay.
1, she's coming off the back of a title run with the opposite title. I would 2, I think Liv Morgan versus Bianca Belair could be an incredible match. I think they are both extremely good athletes. I think it would be a match that I would be very intrigued in watching. As I think, and 3, it's Liv Morgan. She looks incredible. Just let her have a belt.
Okay. I will agree with that. Now, here's my question to you about that. Did she turn heel for that match? Because it
She'd have
seems
to.
like she's kind of
She's teetering.
wavering a little bit.
Yep.
With like kind of just a brutality type of thing.
It's my brutality.
Wrong person.
Sorry.
But
I
close. So I'm just wondering does she turn heel for that if she wins? Even if
I
she loses, I guess.
I think she probably turns heel during.
Okay.
Would
During
be
that match or during this match?
this match.
Okay.
Okay. Interesting take.
I mean, I don't know
Very nice.
how much you could turn heel when you're already in a locked
Cage.
Yeah, there is
cage.
that.
Um,
Maybe an attack after the match.
well, because I
against
mean,
the
like
first-
you
the
turn.
final.
I think you could if that's the one who wins. I think you can win. You show up on Raw on Monday night. Basically like kind of shaking the hand of whatever, and then turn heel and make the 40 days or whatever from there.
Here's what I see. Here's how I see Liv Morgan turning heel. And this is, I know, going slightly off the rails, but this is where I see Liv Morgan going heel. I see her going heel because I believe Monday we get a big return, just in time for WrestleMania season. I think we get Naomi back on Monday Night Raw.
I mean,
And
haven't we said that for the last? I don't
we
know,
have,
every
Keep
But-
saying that for
every
so
pay-per-view.
long.
but how do we send Liv heel? Liv attacks Naomi, and then we get a Naomi Liv feud.
I mean, that's not bad. I don't know if that's a payoff at WrestleMania though.
No, me neither.
Okay, kickoff show then. Whatever.
Well, just because you already got 2 women's championships on the line.
So you're saying that women can't have more than 3 matches at WrestleMania?
I'm not saying that.
Yes, yes,
Two
I am.
championships and the tag team match?
I'm not saying that.
That is exactly what I'm saying. Dennis.
I'm saying we're already going to have 3 because there's no
We are,
shot. There's no shot that Becky Lynch is not going to be somewhere
At WrestleMania.
at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
So
Agreed.
that's
Can I just clarify that me saying that is what I'm saying was a joke?
right?
Yes, we understand. Agreed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
So,
for anyone
Moving
that watches
along.
moving along. So I mean, we know what the main event's going to be. They're not going to run back to back
BCs, yep.
I would
Elimination
guess it would
Chambers.
probably be
Brock and Bobby.
No, you probably run the mixed tag team match.
Oh,
So,
okay.
you know, and you get the crowd into it. Maybe after a.
Promo
I don't
of some
want to
sort.
say a lack. It's hard. It's hard for the women EC match to do some of the stuff that the men's EC match does. You're gonna see Liv jump off one of the corners. You're gonna see that, but
Yep.
I mean, you're gonna see, you know, Montez, you know,
Do something
scaling.
crazy.
Yeah, you're gonna
Yeah.
see this. So maybe to pump a little bit of atmosphere into there, you bring in Canada's own Edge with
Yep.
Beth Phoenix, and they will be
Agreed.
facing Finn Balor and Rhea Ripley. Green Flag, what's your prediction on that?
I have got Edge and Beth.
Okay.
Do I really need to give a reason?
No. I mean, I will, but I mean, you don't have to. That's a good choice.
It's Edge and Beth.
I'm going with Judgment Day here, and the reason I'm going with Judgment Day,
You're stupid.
Dominic Mysterio.
Yeah, no, I mean that's not a bad choice.
Well, there's only two, so
That's not a bad reason. Sorry. It's not a bad reason.
Dennis, I'll be honest. I think if Dominic Mysterio gets involved, Rey Mysterio gets involved. I don't think there's going to be enough. I don't think there's going to be outside interference to a point where it determines the match.
I don't think Ray gets involved.
I don't think either get involved.
Well, Dominic's going to be there because
He'll be there, but I don't think he gets involved.
Well, the story of that, he's going to be there because the entire Judgment Day has something to do. Damian Priest is in the
EC match.
the IC match. Rhea's there, Finn's there, so they're going to have Dominic there. The whole Judgment Day is going to be there. It doesn't make a lot of sense for just Ray to be there. If he was in a match, then maybe I don't know. That's the way I look at stuff like that. It just doesn't make sense for him to physically be there, just to do a run in. But yeah, no, I mean the Judgment Day winning that for that reason, that's not bad. I don't think Edge loses in Canada. I don't think that's possible. Like that's the main reason why I took Edge and Beth.
Edge and
like,
Beth.
I just don't. I don't. We already know that Edge is within what, a year. I mean, he did say he wanted his last match to be in Toronto.
Yep.
You know, and somewhere along the line, like we know that he's about a year away from being done.
Correct.
I don't think he loses in Canada.
Canada.
Yeah,
That's
me
fair.
neither.
At
That's
a
very
premium
fair.
live event. Like I just don't
For sure.
see it. I don't know who takes the fall here, because you don't.
It's gotta
it
be
has to
Finn.
be Finn. Yeah, it has
Gotta
to
be
be Finn
because you don't want a visual pin over Rhea
right.
unless there's a disqualification, which gives them the win.
Yeah, that could be a thing also. So
But,
that's
okay. Edge and Beth. You and Green 5 Edge and Beth. I have Judgment Day.
yeah. I mean, I don't think the match is going to be very long.
No.
Not that either one of them can't still go, but I just don't think it'll be very long. Be interesting to see who the referee is for this match.
Oh yeah. Correct.
You know, I think we'll be pretty excited on who it is to see what happens there.
If there's a bump. Yep. For sure.
So now we're on to the next one.
What do you want to do next?
You know,
I think they probably got Brock Lashley next. Then men's EC, then
I think the only reason they can go Brock and Lashley is because Seth Rollins is in the other one.
yeah.
If it wasn't Seth Rollins, that match just doesn't look good. Honestly.
No, not in the slightest.
So let's go Brock and Bobby.
Okay.
And that is for nothing. It's basically just for people just beating the hell out of each other. No stipulations, no nothing.
As
You know.
Vince says, two big men slapping men.
Yes.
There we go.
So, obviously, the predictions were made after Friday Night SmackDown, where the Bray Wyatt and Uncle Howdy both decided to take out Hit Row, and the best comment was, "You're welcome, Montreal." That was pretty good. So, Dennis, why don't you start us on the Brock and Bobby?
I'm going with Brock, but I'm going with Brock by a DQ because I believe tonight the Hurt Business gets back together. And I believe that's what's going to cause a disqualification. So I'm going Brock Lesnar winning by DQ.
Okay. I'm interested to come back to that here in a second. I have
Sure.
Brock. I really didn't have I even thought about this match, honestly, before watching that promo.
Yeah.
I think it's Brock because I think Brock Bray is a really good match.
Mania?
But that also takes away from. I almost want to switch this because I feel that Mania was set up for Brock and Gunther after Royal Rumble. So if Brock's in that feud with Bray, then he's not going to be in the feud with Gunther. But I'm gonna stay with Brock.
Okay.
I'd like an asterisk by this because I feel that Brock Gunther is the WrestleMania match.
I don't think we do asterisk predictions, Donna.
Dang it. But yeah,
Here's why I don't believe that. Because would I love to see Brock versus Gunther in WrestleMania? Oh my God, that would be amazing. But here's what I want.
Bray?
What I want for WrestleMania when it comes to Gunther is I want Gunther versus Sheamus versus Drew McIntyre versus Braun Strowman for the IC title. Fatal 4-way. You're telling me you would not like that?
How does Braun get into that though?
Well, Braun has had a feud with Gunther.
He has, but now he's kind of rolling with Ricochet right now.
But they just lost. That can dissipate now. You know what I'm saying? No, like I'm not trying to be funny, but I mean it's a
get rid of
makeshift.
Braun. Do not get rid of Braun and Ricochet.
It's a makeshift tag team that lost. You know what I'm saying? So like it's I wasn't really sold on them as a tag team anyhow. Like I understand the dynamic; it's a great dynamic, but the more I think about it, I'm like
Yeah. Okay, I can see it. I mean, I can see a lot of triple threat matches going on at WrestleMania that they're not going to do.
Me too. Yeah.
So, before we go to that, Green Flag, what's your prediction for the Brock and Lashley?
I have Brock.
Okay.
Oh, clean sweep on Brock, guys.
I had Brock because I think if Brock loses to Lashley at the Elimination Chamber, it possibly ruins the Gunther versus Brock storyline. So I was kind of going down the same line as Doman in terms of Brock winning to bolster his stock for WrestleMania, so to speak. But I also think, after what I have just watched, Brock versus Bray is the thing that makes sense to give Bray Wyatt the big WrestleMania comeback story kind of thing than Bobby Lashley. Like, Bobby Lashley versus Bray Wyatt could be a good match, but Bray Wyatt versus Brock Lesnar is a draw.
It is. And it's almost like it's too close to WrestleMania for this part of this to happen. But Bobby, and this goes with what Dennis said, Bobby with the Hurt Business, and then the Wyatt Six, whatever combination
Ooh.
like that. But I don't know if there's enough time to build that storyline
Oh, me neither.
to WrestleMania. So
Also,
I
who
mean,
are the 6?
who aren't the 6? It's just the characters. So obviously we know Uncle Howdy, and I don't know the characters' names, but you have the damn rabbit, you have the pig.
Yep.
Um,
Still got the Fiend.
you still have the Fiend. You know, and we haven't seen anybody else other than Uncle Howdy.
Correct.
So we know there's other
AKA
characters.
Bo Dallas.
We
That was Bo Dallas last night. I'm sorry. He moved like Bo Dallas. He's got the same build as Bo. That is Bo freaking Dallas. Okay? Stop lying to us, WWE.
Yeah.
They're not lying. They're just not telling. They're just not confirming.
True. No confirmation.
Same as lying.
So yeah, I this match, we're all on Brock, but after the match and whoever wins, I can see a path either way. Because if Bobby wins, then you have Bobby and Bray, but then I think you have it set up for Brock and Gunther. If Brock wins, what does Bobby do? Other than, like you said, go into the hurt business, but what does that do for him?
Okay.
Like what?
That's a great.
What,
that's a great point.
Yeah. What's his next? What's the path? Because you assume he's going to be at WrestleMania. What's next? It's like Brock's already got something kind of built in, but what's next for Bobby if he loses? So, once again, triple threat match: Brock, Bobby, Bray. I mean, it'd be interesting.
Yeah. It would be.
Moving on.
The
So
men's.
This would be the, I guess, quote unquote, co-main event of the night. This one's for a belt, however.
It is for a title.
Austin Theory's Intercontinental belt.
U.S.
Yes, because Gunther is Intercontinental Champion. Of course. It's for the U.S. title. So you have Montez Ford, Johnny Wrestling, Brodus Clay's lookalike.
Yep.
You
Bronson
have
Reed.
Bronson Reed. You have Austin Theory himself, Seth frickin'
Damian
Rollins, and Damian Priest. I'll go first on this one, just to get it out of the way, so I can argue with you guys later.
Sure.
I don't.
I know why you're picking your pick, but go ahead.
Yeah, I don't see. By process of elimination. For some reason, Johnny Gargano's a mid card at this point.
Sadly.
Yeah, Bronson Reed's not there yet. Montez Ford is interesting. That's an interesting pick, but then you have to break up the Street Profits.
Right.
And I don't know if they're ready for that. Because I don't know what D'Angelo Hawkins does. Or Angelo Hawkins. Seth Rollins is a good pick because that puts him in WrestleMania as a champion. Damian Priest, I don't think he needs that right now when Judgment Day is hot. And so it leads me to Austin Theory to retain, and I think that gives us the opportunity for John Cena at WrestleMania. If it's not John Cena, because I guess Seth Rollins does kind of have this kind of going for him with the Logan Paul. I see Logan Paul maybe going at Theory. But I think they're pushing towards John Cena and Theory for the U.S. title at WrestleMania. So I'm going with Austin Theory for this.
It's a good pick. Solid pick. I originally picked Montez Ford because I think even though Angelo Dawkins isn't ready to be apart from the Street Profits, I think Montez Ford is absolutely ready to be an individual
nice
champion or an individual wrestler. However, I don't think Cena comes back to fight Theory at WrestleMania unless Theory is the U.S. champion, right? Like, it loses some of its lackluster. It loses some of its pizzazz if it's just Theory versus Cena. You know what I mean? Because it's a title that Cena revitalized. When he won it, he turned it to the U.S. Spinner Belt, and it kind of revived it at the time. You know, so I think it'll be a more sentimental thing. I'm changing my pick from Montez Ford to Austin Theory retaining.
Interesting. And don't get me wrong, I don't think this WrestleMania needs John Cena. I don't think they
Completely agree. Completely agree.
Like, The Rock is different. The Rock's different. Not that they need him, but it's in Hollywood. So it makes a little bit more sense.
Right.
I mean, we
He
can't
was barely
see,
able-
can't see him anyways.
Well, with his schedule, he was barely able. Like, they reported he made it in with like 7 minutes to spare for the XFL kickoff. 7 minutes to spare. Like,
And he
his schedule
owns that.
is crazy. Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Right. So I mean, this could just blow up in our face and everything like that, but I don't think we need him for WrestleMania. But that's my pick. That's Austin Theory. I think Austin Theory is doing a lot better now than he was under the Vince McMahon regime.
Couldn't agree more.
I hated him under
Absolutely.
that regime.
Not just
And-
the character.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I hated that Fandango, or not, Tyler Breeze taking
mixture.
selfies and being the chosen one. I didn't like that at all. So that's, but I like this character a little bit more.
Me too.
Greenfly.
I have Seth Rollins.
Really?
Okay.
Yes, purely with WrestleMania in mind. I think Seth Rollins is strong enough. Strong? That's not a word. Strong is a word.
I mean,
strong
whatever
enough.
word, we don't have a Still Talking podcast dictionary, so whatever word you want to make up, we're here for it.
Not yet, though, man.
I
Not
think
yet.
Seth Rollins is strong enough to hold a title. Everyone agrees with that. Like,
He
I
should.
don't need to.
He should.
I don't need to argue that. I also think it plays into the Logan Paul angle a lot, which I think if you're gonna have Seth Rollins versus Logan Paul in any context, make it WrestleMania. Make it for a title. Make it for a title that Logan Paul isn't gonna win, but on the very off chance he does, it's not going to ruin WWE forever. And have people get invested early in WrestleMania.
Right.
Like that for me is why Seth Rollins should win.
Yeah.
I
More
hear
from
that.
a business
I hear that.
aspect, more than a business aspect than a storyline aspect, but a business aspect that plays into a storyline.
I hear that, but I will say this. 2 things to rebuttal. Number 1, I don't think we need a title for Seth versus Logan. Number 2, I don't want the potential of a part-timer holding a mid-level belt. To me, that
I don't
would
think
destroy the
Logan.
belt.
Logan doesn't win at WrestleMania.
But then he's still going after a championship, being a part, knowing he's going to be a part timer. It's different
Right.
with Brock
He
because
went-
the heavyweight
he
champion
went
can be
after-
part time.
Right.
He went after the biggest title in the business.
That's
But-
only because of where it was located. They needed that was more business than it was actually
But
anything else.
I think the fact that Logan Paul versus Seth Rollins in any aspect is purely business. It's
Right.
it's probably the most drawing superstar in the business from an individual aspect without a title versus the biggest draw in the business from a outsider thing. If you throw any title on that, you're guaranteed big numbers at WrestleMania. And WWE would be stupid not to do it. If they don't do it, if Austin Theory wins and they play into the John Cena side of things, I completely understand. I'm not going to be like, you're idiots. But Seth Rollins winning, having a decent run, because I don't see him taking the championship from Cody Rhodes or Roman Reigns anytime soon. Give him a belt, keep him right up there, give him good storylines, and have it start with something that is just guaranteed to draw numbers.
Yeah, no, I agree to an extent. I agree with Dennis, actually, that you don't need a belt. Did you know this? Or, like, who is the top person in WWE right now?
When you say
In
top
terms
person,
of
you mean
what?
like
Just who do you? You're like,
Roman.
You're
Roman.
like that's. I mean, who do you think? Who's the second? I
Cody.
mean, you're gonna say Cody, Sammy, but what about Seth? What about Rollins?
Fourth.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you know that he has never main evented WrestleMania? The only time he's been in the main event was when he cashed in. That's like that to me. That's mind-boggling. Like, to me,
Agreed.
he is
He's a main eventer.
he is as good as
I don't disagree.
as Rollins or as Roman and stuff like that, and he has
Roman.
never been the main event of
100%
WrestleMania. His
I
wife
need to
has,
pee again.
but he has. What's that? Wait, what happened?
I need to pee again.
Oh, okay. Yeah, his
You
wife
leave your little
has,
platter.
but he has not, which is just. I mean, you have your Brocks, you have your Goldbergs, you have your, all these others, and like to me, it's Roman, and then it's Seth, and he just doesn't get it,
No.
which is crazy to me.
Well, I think he said it too in his Ariel Helwani interview. How it is frustrating. He's saying, he's playing second fiddle, even though like he's one of the most talented, best wrestlers in the entire world, not just WWE, in the world.
Right.
He just happens to be at the wrong place at the wrong time behind Roman Reigns.
Right.
What he call it? He called it the Ultimate Warrior to Hulk Hogan. In any other era, Ultimate Warrior is the icon, is the guy.
Right.
He was just unfortunate to be in the same era as Hulk Hogan. That's what he compared himself to.
I mean, that's
Right.
really legit, honestly.
And not to Seth's fault, because dude, he has never disappointed. I'm trying to think of a time where I was disappointed in Seth Rollins' performance in the ring. I can't name it. I put him up there as far as overall wrestling, the best technical wrestler in the world. He's top 3 for me. Top 3 in ring performer. But yes, the fact that he's never main evented a WrestleMania is highway robbery.
Right.
I don't know any other way to say it.
So we've got one more match to touch on real quick. But before we do that, obviously we talk about wrestling a lot. So this last week, it was in this last week. Jerry the King Lawler had a stroke, I believe, right?
He did.
But I think he is doing well.
He's recovering, yes.
And then Wednesday or Tuesday?
Was, yeah.
It was Wednesday or Tuesday when Jerry Jarrett.
Tuesday night, Wednesday morning is
when Jerry Jarrett passed away.
Passed away. Yep.
So, definitely wish the best for the King and wish the best for
the Jarrett family. Yeah.
Right, because that's
the loss, man. The loss.
It is for sure.
Yep.
So now we're on to the last match.
Yep.
And Dennis and I talked about this a little bit in the Discord. The last match is no stipulations to it. Roman Reigns, Sami Zayn.
Man.
I mean, it's in Montreal. Sammy's hometown.
Man.
We talked a little bit about the crowd. I mean, he got a 5-minute standing ovation on SmackDown, which is where the Elimination
also
Chamber is going
Montreal.
to be. No, I
Yeah,
think
it
it's
was-
the same building.
Same building and everything, yes.
It was really cool to see the structure above the ring
Above.
on a SmackDown.
I loved it as well. I think that's a huge benefit of having a Saturday premium live event right behind a Friday SmackDown
Right.
is that you get in that arena, or at least in the same city.
Yeah, I
right?
mean they do like the same city, or at least it's like when they did Royal Rumble, they were in Dallas,
Yep.
or Austin the night before, and then went to
San Antonio.
But you always do like the stadium, the bigger stadium, and then
Yeah.
you're doing it at the Smoothie King Center. You're doing the Superdome hosts WrestleMania, but the Smoothie King Center hosts the night before, or
Correct.
the Raw after. So I think it's at the same venue. So they're just gonna
Yep.
leave that up. Before we even get into the match, we talked about how the crowds, they're not gonna bleep it out because it's on.
Nope.
The
No.
crowd is not gonna like Roman.
I hope you got the premium cock.
Yeah, you are reportedly the Usos are in Canada.
I
So
did see that report.
we'll
Yes, they
see.
did get the day pass.
We'll see what happens with that, but how raucous? You mentioned CM Punk in Chicago against Cena. I mentioned Cena
ECW
walking
One Night Stand.
into a freaking hornet's nest at One
Enemy
Night Stand.
Territory.
Like-
yes.
It's ECW is a different breed though, and that time was a different
absolutely.
breed because they encouraged
Completely
that
agree.
a little bit more.
Yep.
But
This
this is going to be
This is gonna be special.
the loudest ovation possible,
Yep.
and the loudest boos.
Absolutely. I don't think anyone's going to acknowledge Roman.
Yeah,
I think if someone acknowledges him, they will get kicked out by the by the rest
Right.
of the crowd.
right.
But I just think that not only that it's Sammy's hometown, I think that has just been a result of the amazing storytelling that has just happened in this past almost year now since Sammy's joined the Bloodline or been a part of this storyline. Like,
Right. Yeah,
Man.
no, I'm with you. So I'll go first. I'll go first on
Okay.
this. I hate this because I
Yeah.
do because I think laziness. Yeah, I have Roman winning by DQ, and I think laziness says Roman wins by DQ. The Usos or Solo get involved. Kevin Owens comes down and helps defend Sammy. Now you set up Owens and Sammy versus the Usos at WrestleMania. I think it's lazy. It is so lazy.
That's
and
fair.
I don't like it. That's what I picked, but I don't like it because
completely fair.
I see this
WWE,
being,
you're better than that.
I see this being Kofi Mania. I see this being Yeselmania.
Yep.
Daniel Bryan wasn't supposed to be in that match at WrestleMania, but the
Nope.
fans wanted it. Kofi wasn't supposed to be and win that match, but the fans wanted it.
Fans
the
wanted
fans
it, yep.
want this. So I want to see a path that Sammy gets to WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's one-on-one against Roman, whether it's a triple threat match, once again. However, I want to see that. But I think the lazy booking and the easiest path is having him lose and it being a tag team match setup, which there's nothing hotter than Sammy right now. And
Nothing at all.
you're going to lose a little bit of that putting him in a tag team. Now,
Yep.
it could work if it's a DQ and he wins but doesn't win the titles. Maybe you can sneak him into the championship picture.
Yeah.
Somehow. and not be a tag team. But I've got Roman winning by DQ. Not sure
Roman by
exactly
DQ.
how, but it's just it makes me mad.
Fair enough. I understand. Green
So,
flag.
green flag.
Can Dennis go first? Because I'm very close to changing my pick.
Dennis.
Yes.
Very, very
I will
close.
go. I will go. And I am a sucker for long-term storytelling and it paying off. And I'm going to do it. I'm going Sami Zayn. I think Sami Zayn beats Roman Reigns tonight in Montreal. I just think it shakes the entire wrestling world because it just completely changes the landscape of what WrestleMania would look like. It's going to completely change the main event on night 2 to an extent. But I'm going with Sami Zayn beating the Tribal Chief Roman Reigns tonight in Montreal and becoming the new WWE Universal Heavyweight Champion. And I just wrote it down. Lock in my pick.
Locked in.
The same amount of excitement. Let me say this real quick. I'm so sorry, Greenfly. Royal Rumble, I had so much excitement for that. The anticipation of like who's going to be the surprise person, who's going to win this match, who's going to win the Rumble, all that, right? I have that same level of excitement thinking about this main event because it's in Montreal. It's Sami Zayn's home turf. It's revenge driven.
What's up, Nella? How's it going?
Man, it's right there. WWE, it's right freaking there. And then here's the other thing. Even if Roman loses tonight, that doesn't take Roman out of the main event picture. Roman could absolutely work his way into that being, man, a triple threat match.
True.
At WrestleMania. You know what I'm saying? So we still have that factor even if he loses. I don't think we lose Roman Reigns because of that.
True, but if it's going to be a triple threat, not shooting a hole in your theory, if it's going to be a triple threat, wouldn't you rather have Roman still with the belts at over 1,000 days?
Yes,
as champion.
But here's how I think we shaped that out. Here's
That's
how I
good
think
to
we
hear,
fixed that
Noah.
at the
That is
triple
good
threat
to hear.
match at
I'm glad.
WrestleMania between Sami, Cody, and Roman. Ladder match. And it ends with Cody and Sami pulling down a separate belt. Roman never gets pinned. Roman doesn't have a back-to-back loss on a premium live event as far as a visual pinfall. It's a ladder match.
Okay.
And it could be something simple as like Kevin Owens interferes to where Roman can't get the belt. Or Bobby Lashley goes after Roman and we start building that feud. I'm not saying Bobby Lashley's physical, but like anybody can come in, right? And Seth Rollins. It becomes a Seth versus Roman feud with no belts involved at all.
True.
That's how. But I agree with you. If it was a triple threat, ideally, would I like Roman to be the champ and have it over 1,000 days? Yes, I would. But we're not at WrestleMania right now. We are at Elimination Chamber in Montreal, and I'm letting my emotions take the better of me. I'm picking Sami Zayn.
Yeah. No, I agree.
One more hesitation. Could you imagine the eruption from that crowd if Sami Zayn wins tonight? As much as I love Kansas City winning the Super Bowl and as much as Philadelphia is diehard, both those cities combined would not have anything on what Montreal would be like if Sami Zayn wins tonight.
Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong about that. They're going to have to grease the light poles.
Forget the light poles. They're gonna grease everything:
we-
the streets, the cars, the light poles, the buildings, the mailboxes.
While Greenfly is doing his answer, can we get the Still Talking Podcast Google machine?
Yeah.
Dennis, can we find out where Raw is tomorrow?
I can.
That might change some things. But Greenfly, the floor is yours. Yeah, I realize that now.
I didn't
I'm
think
glad today's better for you.
that this would happen. However, what I want to happen and what I originally thought would happen were two different things. I wanted Sammy to win. I didn't see a world in which Sammy winning. It made sense,
Oh,
but
nice.
it didn't
Little
necessarily bolster any of the
Did you do
future
the half and half?
main events. You know, Cody v. Rhodes makes sense. Sorry, Cody v. Rhodes. Cody v. Reigns makes sense.
Ooh, pepperoni
However-
stuffed crust, nice.
Sign me up.
That's all I do anymore is a half and
Because
half now.
that's Sammy, the undisputed champion, Zayn. Because it's Triple H.
Yes.
It's Montreal.
Yes.
It's Ottawa on Monday.
It is Ottawa on Monday. I just dropped it in the Discord.
We are not getting anywhere near a second Montreal screw job. This is what this crowd needs. This is what the event needs. Do you know what, Dennis? What I need?
What I need?
Sign me up for Sami Zayn.
Sami Zayn, let's go! Send it to the effing moon.
Interesting.
Ottawa, Canada is where Monday
Triple
Night Raw will be.
Triple H does not screw over Montreal in his first time. That's
I
all
will
I'm
say
saying.
this. I will say this. In response to that, if this was Vince McMahon calling the shots, it would be a Montreal Screwjob 2.0.
Also,
100%.
Well, but the screw job isn't keeping the contender from winning. It is
No, it's-
screwing the
come on.
champion out of winning. So the Montreal
Right.
screw job could be.
Yeah,
screwing
we
Roman.
could get a second Montreal screw job.
We could get a second Montreal screw job. Who better to screw
Then
Roman
Sami Zayn?
than Paul Heyman?
And Paul
Ooh.
Heyman.
Just saying. I'm not as.
I like that.
I mean, we're going to watch it here in about 15 minutes. Well, I'm watching it right now, but
I do have the pre-show on.
I'm actually watching last year's WrestleMania. It's Sasha and Naomi in that quadruple tag team women's match.
yeah. So we're going to find out in a little bit, but I mean, it's the crowd is going to be wild.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
as a figure, as an estimated figure, what percentage of the night do you reckon we are just hearing Sami Zayn chants?
Man. I will say this.
Not during the Edge match.
Not an Edge match. I will say this though. Montreal, Canada in general, they are ruckus, but they are very respectful of every performer. So I don't think we'll hear a Sami Zayn chant until it's main event time.
Yeah, they'll encourage it because they'll put up promos or something like that.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Building up to it. So yeah, it'll be interesting. It looks like the cage is down already, so that pretty much confirms the women's
Confirms
match.
the women's, yep.
But I mean, I don't want to say I'm not excited. I'm hopeful that I'm not right.
That's fair.
I'd like to see Seth Rollins win the IC title. I'd like to see Sammy win. I'm looking too far ahead. If it was just, hey, this is the match, and you don't have to worry about anything else, then I could see certain things happening. But it's like, how?
Sure.
Okay, where does that go? What does that do?
Yep.
So
Well,
we will see.
we went over predictions. Question. Because we do this every single time, too. Do we have any surprise returns tonight?
To wrestle?
Either one of you can answer. Either one of you can
wrestle?
answer. That's fine. Not to wrestle, just return. Just return.
I think Bret Hart comes out.
I like that too. Yep.
At
That's
some
one.
point.
That's a guy I have written down. Yep. Bret Hart.
Do we get potentially Bret Hart introducing Sami Zayn? If I'm not mistaken, Sami's main roster debut
Was Bret Hart introducing him? Yeah.
introducing Bret
it
was
was-
Bret Hart introducing against Cena, wasn't it?
It was during the U.S. champion or U.S.
Yeah.
The title.
Open title challenge.
Yeah.
I don't think you need Bret for that. I think Bret maybe comes out with Natalya at the beginning here.
That's fair.
But I'm just trying to think. I think this is a niche Canadian crowd. So if you have anybody return, I think it has to be somewhere along the Canadian side. And I'm not sure exactly who's available. Edge would be, Christian would be nice. Well, we know he was just on AEW this week. He's not going anywhere.
I didn't know he was an AEW. I was just about to mention Christian.
Yeah, he was just on there on Wednesday. So, just coming back from injury and stuff like that. I don't think we need anything unless somehow you get like a Logan Paul showing up to attack Rollins after the match is over or something along those lines.
Yep.
You know,
That's fair.
you know, and it's different in my opinion because it is in Canada. So that's still a different country. Like you still have to go through customs. It's more of a pain in the ass to just like you were talking about like Rey Mysterio earlier, like him just showing up for a run-in. It's not.
Yeah.
It's
got to be
not,
planned. Yeah.
If it was in the States, it's a little bit different, in my opinion.
No, it makes sense.
Do we think we see a returning? Only I say returning because we haven't seen him in a couple weeks. Do we see a returning Kevin Owens?
Yes. I don't think there's a doubt that he is not going to be somewhere at the end of the heavyweight championship match.
Yeah.
Different story for him too.
Correct.
Because he wasn't on Friday night.
Nope.
He is Canadian, so he lives in Canada. So, it's not.
It's not too far fetched.
Yeah, it's not too far fetched. He already lives there, and it's a little bit easier. And once again, you have Sammy, you have KO, you have Edge, you have Bret Hart. After that, you're pretty much done.
What I want.
Off the top end of people.
What I want, what I selfishly want, is, do you remember? I know you do, and I hate bringing up this guy's name. Do you remember when Benoit won, and Eddie came out, and they were both champs and just embraced each other in the middle of the ring? I want that for Sammy and KO. I want that for them.
The whole Paul Rudd hot wings.
You
Who'd
want
have thought
that,
it, huh?
but like the way that they've always done it, you never know when KO's gonna turn on him.
Right.
Like,
But KO doesn't turn on him in Montreal.
no. Oh my God! Talk about a Montreal screw job. Holy.
Right. Right.
Holy. Yeah.
I am excited. I think it's the anticipation more than it is excitement of the main event.
I think so. I think so. Any final words?
Portobello mushrooms, potpourri, Jack Daniels. Those are my final words.
That's what we're. Okay.
I can't think of a better place to leave it.
Okay. Well, let's end the podcast and then just kind of talk for a few minutes and then we'll see what that goes. But yeah, it's been a shorter podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Dennis, why don't you take us home tonight?
Yeah, absolutely.
Since you're the reigning Super Bowl champion.
Oh, I appreciate that. And I didn't have to agree with everything Greenfly said this podcast, so that was also a win right there. We all won there.
Well, I think we knew what was going to happen there. Like, we were just not going to have a
did.
podcast for 3 years.
It wouldn't have mattered when the podcast happened. It would have been the next podcast.
The next one. So listen.
So I'm just saying, if John Cena, by some miracle, which isn't now going to happen, doesn't win the World Universal Undisputed, some form of championship at WrestleMania, I just so happen to be on holiday the week after WrestleMania, or whatever time the next podcast is. So
Interesting.
Fantastic. We'll wait for you, buddy.
Yeah, we'll wait.
no, it's the next podcast.
Yeah,
we'll wait for you.
We'll go to the podcast. We'll go to holiday with you.
Yep.
All right.
Okay,
Send
good.
us home, Dennis.
So listen, hey, guys, thank you so much for listening to us ramble and rant and rave about stuff that we find interesting, football and wrestling. Thank you so much for all of our faithful listeners listening live on Twitch, on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, all of it. My name is Dennis. My
Where the
co-host,
Fuck do you think
Greenfly,
we post this?
Doughman247. Have a very safe weekend. We're out, yeah.
My God, are you still talking?
All right, we are back.